اسمعوا صوت السماء جاء المسيح جاء المسيح.
Of Amritsar newspaper, Maulana Abu Kalam Azad wrote an obituary heaping praise onto Ghulam Qadiani when Ghulam Qadiani died. What are your thoughts? Well, Maulana Abu Kalam Azad is an amazing scholar of the past. He's also associated with the Deobandi scholars.
Firstly, we see that Mufti Abu Layth accepts that Abu Kalam Azad was a great scholar.
And he was very critical about certain issues, and he wasn't like a blind follower in things.
He now says that Abu Kalam Azad was not a blind follower in things. Let us first see the opponents of Ahmadiyya accept that Abu Kalam Azad praised Hadhrat Ahmad alayhi salam.
मेरे साहब भी बहुत बड़े आलिम थे, अपने ज़माने में बड़े मुनाजिर की हैसियत रखते थे। उनके बारे में मौलाना अबुल कलाम आज़ाद ने बड़े गैर मामूली अल्फाज लिखे हैं जब उनकी वफ़ात हुई है। वकील अखबार के उस ज़माने वो एडिटर थे। मौलाना अबुल कलाम आज़ाद मामूली आदमी नहीं थे। मौलाना अबुल कलाम आज़ाद, उन्होंने बड़ी उनकी मदह और तारीफ़ की, और बहुत से अल्लामा इकबाल बड़े उनके मुतक़िद रहे एक ज़माने में। आलिम थे, वही बड़े आलिम थे।
क्योंकि ये ईसाइयों को जवाब देते थे।
तहरीक पाकिस्तान ही नहीं, खुद जो है मौलाना अबुल कलाम आजाद, मौलाना सनाउल्लाह अमृतसरी, असल में ये एक खास दौर था जबकि इस्लाम के खिलाफ एक तो ईसाई
ये खुद
थे। ये
गुलाम रसूल मेहर और अब्दुल मजीद
सालिक अहमदी थे।
मेरी इतना नहीं है ये। बहरहाल मैं जो अर्ज कर रहा हूँ वो ये कि जो काम वो कर रहा था उसने तो ईसाई मिशनरीज के साथ मुनाजरे किए और उन्हें शिकस्त दी।
किसने?
ईसाई मिशनरीज को साथ मुनाजरे करके गुलाम अहमद ने उन्हें शिकस्त दी।
अच्छा।
और एक जबरदस्त जो एक वायलेंट तहरीक उठ गई थी, ये सत्यारथ प्रकाश का जो मुसन्निफ था, आर्या समाज, तो आर्या समाज के लोगों से भी उसने मुनाजरे किए और उन्हें शिकस्तें दी। अच्छा, इन दो चीजों की वजह से उलमा की आंखों का तारा बन गया।
अहमद खान ने भी मौलाना सैयद मीर हसन को मना किया था कि इनके साथ झगड़ा करने की जरूरत नहीं है, हमें क्या उनका जो भी अकीदा रहे उनके पास, लेकिन हमें इससे कोई गरज नहीं। लेकिन सुने हैं कि आदमी बड़ा साले और नेक है, और वो मुकाबला करते थे इन ईसाइयों से। थे नहीं, मगर ये सबूत मौजूद है कि वो मुतासिर हुए थे। जैसे शुरू में कहा था इन्होंने प्रोग्राम से कि बहुत से लोग मुतासिर हुए। मिर्जा गुलाम अहमद के बारे में उन्होंने ये लिखा है एक जगह कि इस दौर, ये 1898-99 की बात है, कि इस दौर में मिर्जा गुलाम अहमद जिस तरह इस्लाम को समझे हैं ऐसा बहुत कम लोग समझे हैं।
मेरा ये ख्याल है कि वो कभी भी अहमदी नहीं थे, अलबत्ता गुलाम अहमद की तारीफ उन्होंने की। और जो आपने जुमला नोट किया है, मैंने इसके बरक्स ये सुना है कि उन्होंने कहा है कि अगर कोई शख्स आज इस्लाम जिंदा देखना चाहे तो कादियान में जाके देखे।
And maybe other than those issues aside, he may have been generally a great human being. He may have been. Obviously, people who knew him, his contemporaries, would know that better. They, may have met him, sat down with him. He may have been, I don't know, like somebody who did other things. He may, say some good words about him after he passed away. Why not? I don't think there's anything wrong with praising other human beings. So that was my perspective. But as a human being, he might have been a great human being. He might have been somebody that, visited the sick and gave in charity and smiled at people. He might have been, obviously these things I wasn't being asked, like, what do you think of him as a human being? Because I would just say, I honestly don't know. He may have been the fact that he has followers shows that he must have been a good human being to at least so many people. He must have been. So that's what I would say. So there's no harm in people speaking nice about him.
Abu Layth tries to say that maybe Hadhrat Ahmad alayhi salam, apart from his beliefs, was a great human being, which is why perhaps Abu Kalam Azad praised him. He is trying to suggest to the viewers that Hadhrat Ahmad alayhi salam was praised for his character alone and not for his efforts in the defense of Islam. Let us look at the words of Abu Kalam Azad and how they expose Abu Layth. That man, that very great man, whose pen was a magic wand and whose tongue was spellbinding, that man whose brain was a complex of wonders, whose eye could revive the dying and whose call aroused those in the graves, whose fingers held the wires of revolution and whose fists were electrical batteries, that man who for 30 years was an earthquake and typhoon for the religious world, who, like the trumpet of doomsday, awakened those lost in the slumber of life. He has left the world empty-handed. He then stated, the demise of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib of Qadian is not such an event that a lesson should not be learned from it, nor should it be consigned to the passage of time to efface. Such people who produce a religious or intellectual revolution are not born often. These sons of history, in whom it rightly takes pride, appear but rarely on the world scene, and when they do, they bring about a revolution for all to see. He further stated, in spite of our strong differences with Mirza Sahib in respect of some of his claims and beliefs, his separation forever has convinced the educated and enlightened Muslims that one of their very great personages has left them, and with him the mighty defense of Islam against its opponents, which was linked with his person, has come to an end. His special characteristic, that he acted against the enemies of Islam as a victorious general, compels us to express openly our feeling that the grand movement, which for so long defeated and trod over our opponents, should be continued in the future also. He continues his praise by saying, Mirza Sahib appeared in the front line of devotees who for the cause of Islam accepted the dedication to sacrifice their time from the cradle through the springs and autumns to their graves in fulfilling the pledge of loyalty to their beautiful beloved Islam. He then praised the books of the promised Messiah ﷺ and stated, the literature produced by Mirza Sahib in his confrontation with the Christians and the Aryas has received the seal of general approval, and for this distinction he needs no introduction. We have to acknowledge the value and greatness of this literature from the bottom of our hearts now that it has done its work. This is because that time cannot be forgotten nor effaced from the mind when Islam was besieged by attacks on all sides, and the Muslims who had been entrusted with the defense of Islam by the real defender as the means of defense in this world of causes and means were lying flat sobbing in the aftermath of their shortcomings, doing nothing for Islam or not being able to do anything for it. He then stated, then began that counterattack from the side of the Muslims in which Mirza Sahib had a part. That defense not only shattered to bits the initial influence of Christianity, which it really had due to support from the government, and saved thousands, nay millions of Muslims from this dangerous attack, which would have succeeded. But the talisman of Christianity itself was blown away like smoke. Now we just heard many quotations from Abu Kalam Azad praising the knowledge, character and hard work of Hadhrat Ahmad ﷺ done for Islam. Abu Kalam accepted that Hadhrat Ahmad ﷺ was extremely intelligent. Let us now hear the ignorant Abu Layth.
I do feel that he was suffering from some kind of mental health issues. What do you have to say about Halloween? Is it permissible? I believe it's permissible. Valentine's. So there is no overwhelming conclusive evidence that this is haram. But I don't believe it's haram to swear. General, like if I said F that, what's the big, why would that be haram? I answered about tattoos previously, that I don't feel that they're haram. Why are gold and silver utensils impermissible? They are permissible in my understanding. Isn't backbiting freedom of expression? Yes, it is. And that's why I said backbiting isn't necessarily haram in my understanding. Like lying in and of itself, if it has no harm, is not haram. Every once in a while, a fitna like me emerges.
نبينا صل على محمد صل على سفينا صل على محمد بلغ العلا بكماله كشف الدجى بجماله